Hello and welcome to the Look Ahead. Today we are joined by Michael and Mark. How are you guys?
All right, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, champion. Thank
And
you
yourself,
very much.
Mark?
He's slightly frozen.
Well, it is a
Oh,
bit
sorry.
nippy.
I'm champion. Thank you very much.
Right, so what we'll do is we're just going to go straight in, and I don't really think many of these are good topics or happy topics. But we're going to start first with the fact that obviously Bruno has got himself banned for the next 3 games. Now, whether or not that's a good thing, because you might think, well, he'd be fit for the final. But it is a big miss, and obviously it is a way that we're going to have to do without him. We'll not go into whether or not people thought it was a red card or not, because it's not really going to change it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What we will do is I'm going to ask you who you think will replace him, and if that's someone who was already in the starting 11, who will then be taking their place. We'll go with Mark first.
Yeah. Presumably you can hear me better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
I think it's probably going to be Joe Linton gets pulled back into the midfield, or I guess Joe Willock, depending on who, in your opinion, spent more time out on the left. I know some people have different opinions on that, so I think it'll be them two in there with Sean Longstaff. And for me, I think Eddie Howe probably won't throw Anthony Gordon straight in, so probably Maxi, who I think he's kind of earned a bit of a shot at it to me. He's looked lively, and more recently when he's come on, he's obviously had a lot of training under his belt now since his injury, well, and then his setback that he had after that as well. So, I think he's probably ready to come in. I think Eddie Howe probably feels similar. He said something along those lines in his press conference this morning as well, obviously without giving away who he's going to play. That would be my prediction.
And Michael?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, we have this debate, don't we, every week about who's going to pick. It's always the same 11, no matter who we're playing. So I think that's fair shout. I think Big Joe will just move in, because he did play in the Carabao Cup, didn't he, when Bruno got rested? Was it Bournemouth? In the back of my mind, it was Bournemouth. Bruno didn't play, or he didn't start, I should say, and Big Joe played there. So I expect he'll be the one who fits into Bruno's role. And Willock there, and probably Maxi. So,
do you think the formation will stay the same, or may there be a change of formation given the fact that we will be without Bruno?
I think it's likely to stay the same, but I don't think Howe will be scared to change it too much, because if you think about options off the bench, he's basically his only other central midfield option is Anderson, and it's debatable whether that's his best position. So you got that going on. So he's almost in a way kind of forced to switch formation if he does make a sub. Even if he goes, okay, I'm going to bring on Isak, but you're not going to play up front, you're going to play in the 10. It's like, well, okay, that's still really switching to a 4-2-3-1, isn't it? So I think we might see a bit of that, but probably not right from the start.
Yeah. He just likes playing like that, doesn't he? Simple as that, week in, week out. Same system, same personnel, sometimes rotated slightly during a game, but yeah, he just likes it, doesn't he? I can't see him changing it now. It's done us all right so far, hasn't it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it, Mark?
I think he probably would be reluctant to change it, but he knows that he's got that in his back pocket, as he did against Fulham when he did change it to what was like a 4-2-3-1, because we were struggling to break Fulham down. So that is in the back pocket. You then also look at the fact that you've now got Gordon, who's available. Murphy is a one that can come on and just irritate teams, which seems to be his only role at the minute. You also look at, and again, it's whether or not, because I think Eddie Howe's been very clever with the answers. But let's say if Isak is available, then that's an option. So you've got at least 3 options off the bench straight away that can come on.
He did say he's available, didn't he? He did say Isaac's on, I think, this morning.
So you cut off there, so it went a little bit mumbled there.
Oh, sorry, I was saying he did say that Isaac was more likely going to be fit to start, fit to play, didn't he, at some point this morning? Didn't Eddie say?
No.
He was asked about the concussion because obviously he was a concussion sub, and then there's a protocol to follow.
He said he showed some
didn't give
signs
too much away.
of
Yeah.
The words were he showed some signs of concussion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he sort of followed it up by saying, like, look, he's certainly not, he's been his normal self basically all week. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, and we expect him to be available, but
that's what
left the door open.
Yeah, reading between the lines, and
he's very, very coy now in terms of what he gives away, which is what it should be. Let's not give the team, the chance. We'll look more into the teams when we get to the preview aspect of it. What we'll do is we'll park the Bruno thing to one side because there's not really much more we can think about it, and I think the next topic's going to be one that's going to be probably the one that's quite debated, whether people have views on, and that is Wembley tickets. I know we've got the Wembley. Who thought we'd be having this sort of problem?
Yeah.
Never mind the struggle for fights, for tickets for members, for home games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I was I've booked trains and hotels to go down to London. I've already made the decision. Look, even if I don't get a ticket, I'm going to go. So I met up last night with a mate who I'm going to be going down with, and we were sort of naturally discussing about chances of getting tickets, blah blah blah, because he's going to be in a higher priority group than I am. So look, if you get a ticket, I don't get a ticket. It is what it is. You got to, it doesn't matter. You just go and I'll make the most of it. I'm not bothered. Well, I'm bothered, but I'm not going to let it ruin having a good weekend. You know what I mean? And then naturally that goes on to the conversation, which is kind of similar. And you sort of touched on it there, Mark, in a bit of a jokey way about the current stadium and what's going on there. And it's like, it's mad. We probably need a 70,000 seat stadium now to keep everybody happy, at least, maybe 80,000. And then, like you say, what a wonderful problem to have where everyone's apparently decided to start fighting each other on social media about who should get priority for Wembley tickets. It's like, all right, I suppose this is out of all the problems that the club could be facing, this is as close as you can get to a good one, but I'm not going to get involved. I just got back from a trip, and so I've kind of not been on social media much recently, and Michael sent us a text today saying there's been a lot of fighting going on social media with Punks fans. I thought, bloody hell, I am staying well out of that. Anyway, I'm in a lowly group 6 Luddite, so what can I possibly contribute?
Yeah.
Before we start talking about the groups and the decisions that Newcastle made, do you think it's fair that 26,000 tickets are made available to corporate partners?
Well, I was saying to someone online about this because they were kind of a bit surprised, which people are, because obviously we haven't been in the final for so long, people don't realise, but we've all known it for years. See, we don't matter, right? We could, what we would pay in terms of our lifetime being football supporters is nothing to compare to what they'll pay for that one game. We could not put that much money in, so we don't really count. Because I mean, really, it should be just split down the line. And then if it was split 40, whatever it is, it's 90,000. It's a 45,000 each. There'd be more chance of us getting right down past all our phases, which you're going to mention later on. Probably more so than Manchester United, because we don't have like that huge thing that they have. But it is ridiculous, and it's only when you think of it like that that's the problem. So we shouldn't be fighting each other saying, well, why isn't it just like 50-50? Never mind this little grey bit where there's these 20,000, where are these other 26,000 coming from, So that's the problem. that especially we've got two massive teams. I mean, there isn't a stadium probably big enough in the world that'd fit as comfortably everybody in, is there? So, but when you're taking like about, whatever it will be, my massive shite, but a third nearly, then you're gonna have a problem, aren't you? So we don't matter. Money talks, simple as that.
It's crooked as fuck. Basically, let's just say it as it is. It's absolutely crooked, but it's
that is not a view that NUSC 360 holds.
That's just my opinion.
I must point that out. That is an individual opinion. The only good thing about facing Manchester United is most of their fans are in London anyway, so they're not going to need accommodation. True. So
that is very true. Yeah. So, but I mean, that's my feeling on it. That it's just not right. So it's not.
You expect corporate tickets to be made available. Like, we're not idiots.
I can understand.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind that, but not that
it's
amount.
It's the sheer scale of it. It's obscene. It is absolutely obscene. And
now I understand some of them will be for what's classed as the middle tier, which is Club Wembley.
Yeah.
Because that'll be counted in the capacity, but obviously it's there. So even if you're taking, let's say, 3,000 seats for that, you've still then got 7,000, I would say, that you could give to corporate partners, and then the other 40,000 goes to each club.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple, isn't it? I mean, it might not feel like a lot to them, but it certainly means a great deal to us, especially to us who don't get there every couple of years like they do.
I mean, the other big thing about it is as well. It's like, right, if you want to give away 26,000 seats to corporate ticket holders, Club Wembley, etc., then build a bigger Wembley. Then you haven't built a big enough stadium. You want to give more seats away, then you need a bigger ground. Because, I'm sorry, but there are plenty of football clubs in this country that can easily sell out. What is it? 29,000 tickets were being given, or something like that. 29,700,
32,700 or something, isn't
32,
it?
Sorry.
Roughly.
Yeah,
it was
32,700, not 3,200. So
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but most teams that are getting to a final can sell that allocation.
32,761.
Yeah.
There you go.
You see, the problem is also they spend so much on it. They've got to give these corporate seats away to pay for it. Because it only gets used 8 times a year.
And the FA Cup's even worse. The FA Cup, you get even lower allocation. There's more corporate tickets for that.
Well, there you go.
I mean, like I say, I don't think any of us are idiots. We all know how the world works. There's always going to be some tickets made available to corporates, but it's the obscenity that they get basically as many as we're getting, which is just ridiculous. It's like basically a third of the stadium is going to be full of neutrals. Like, what's the point?
I mean, absolutely. But it hasn't, it doesn't get around the fact of how fair our system is. So for allocation.
So that's obviously moving on to the next step. Do you think the system is fair?
You were never going to be able to please everybody. I think it's pretty close to being as fair as they could have done it. I'm biased because I'm in Group 6, but I personally think Group 5 and Group 6 should be the other way around. Because Group 5 is season ticket holders who have not attended any Carabao Cup games, home or away, this season. It's like, well, if you haven't bothered yourself to go along to one Carabao Cup game, I think members who have gone to a few Carabao Cup games should maybe get, preference over them. But other than those two groups, which in my opinion are the wrong way around, I can't really disagree with any of it. And like I say, I'm biased because I'm in Group 6. So
yeah, there's no good way of doing it. You were never going to please everybody. Simple as that. And I mean, we can't even agree about if we should move grounds or not. So we're never going to agree on something as. And also, like I say, it doesn't help that it's 24 years, so it's everyone wants to go.
Yeah, and obviously Black Mamba's mentioned that in the comments as well. Just about it is an ongoing issue. You think it's bad now, like we're not winning. We haven't won anything yet. Imagine if we start winning things, like the demand for tickets for every single game is going to get. I mean, it's already really, really bad, like really, really bad. Yeah, it's going to get insane. It's just I don't know how you solve this problem at all. I think it's an unsolvable problem in the short to medium term.
I just hope everybody feels like I do, which is kind of like, I'm going to be gutted not to go, obviously. And like Mark, I'm assuming I'm not going to get a ticket. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. And what I do from there on is my own choice. But it's not going to be fun not to get a ticket. But that's the way. The world is not fair. Good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people. That's the way the world works. And suck it.
You're saying with regards to the periods, I actually think period 2 and 1 should be changed over.
I can sort of understand that. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Period 2 is season ticket holders that have attended 4 home and at least 1 of the away Carabao Cup matches. Yeah, period 1 is just season ticket holders with a 25% loyalty point and have attended at least 1 Carabao Cup match.
Yeah, I can see your point there.
So it's like,
I think,
why? And I know what you're saying is about loyalty points, but season ticket holders are loyal in the fact that they're season ticket holders, and anyway, loyalty points, it just means that the money goes to the away club.
Yeah, I think the thing with that is it's a very small group, that isn't it? Because the grounds, because obviously Tranmere wouldn't have, we'd had a couple of thousand there, we had a couple of thousand. That's a very small group, so they're the ones that are squashed. They've got less parameter than anybody else. They're the ones that are really just going to be like about 3,000 or 4,000, isn't it? And that's it.
That's why I just think they should have switched that one.
Yeah, because if people haven't thought about it,
if you're going to do rules for the cup, then say, right, if you've been to all 4 and at least 1 of the away cup games, which means you've only missed out on 1, which it is really fair doing, then you should be priority 1. Yeah. Then, obviously, if you've got loyalty points and you've attended it at one of the matches, then you get that, and then onto the priority or period 3 or whatever it is. So that's just where I would go on there, because I agree with the point that if it's a Carabao Cup competition, then your attendance in the Carabao Cup fixtures should be taken into attendance. On that aspect of it, because if you've been willing to support the club in the earlier rounds of the cup competition, like your Palace and your Bournemouth, where maybe season ticket holders weren't, others probably have done. I know we sold out, but they weren't all season ticket holders, and I know that from the fact that the atmosphere was nowhere near as good.
And thinking about that, like the message that it sends for next season's competition, it's like, if the club did that and showed, like, well, actually, if you attend some of the earlier games, it will give you more of a chance to get a ticket if we get to the final. It's like, okay, supporters will learn from that, and next season go, oh, well, I'm going to buy a ticket for the 3rd round or whatever, and it'll make the atmosphere better. So it's all about what the messages the club's sending out as well.
And also, the thing is also, I mean, like, because of the season tickets, because they didn't put all the ones that got people didn't want under the Ashley regime, and that's another argument. We're not going to even go into that.
I'm going to say, I think it's very hard to think that most, if any of those, were continued, because obviously it was free just for that season, and then if they'd wanted it to continue, they would have had to pay.
But then there was people like myself, and I'm not sure if Mark did this. Obviously, we went on to get a season ticket and couldn't get one because they'd gone. Yeah. So we're both. I'm a member, so I go to as many games as I can. I've only missed a couple now.
Same.
So, but because I don't have a season ticket, because I couldn't buy one because they'd gone, I can't go, even though I go every week. Home game. So I mean, my point is, it's not straightforward, and
the one thing is, if you said members, then season ticket holders are members anyway, because the price for the membership is built into the season ticket price. Yeah. So in that sense, season ticket holders are members anyway. I think the reason why season tickets will probably get the reference is because they're basically committing up front. To say, look, we're going to pay the money for the season, so the club knows that they've got that guaranteed revenue. Stream from that one. With members, they don't necessarily know that. So although they might still get revenue, it's not something that they've got guaranteed. So in that sense.
It's a weird and crappy situation for everybody concerned, including the club. There's no good answers to it. And
it is. I think, we've all got gripes, but overall, I actually think the clubs dealt with it in probably the fairest way they could possibly have done it in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
There's
in
no
that
good way of
sense.
doing it. You just,
Like I
you
said,
just
everyone's going
bug
to
it
have
either way.
qualms and qualms. Like I said,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and period 3 or phase 3 or whatever. The only thing which I do have a little bit of a quarrel is that they've called them period 1, period 2, period 3. No. I think there should have been phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Yeah, of the sale. I just don't like the word period. It's like, no.
I
It's
think
like-
it should have just been how old you are, how tall you are. So, like, start from 65 down, because people over 70s aren't going to go to Wembley because they're too old. So it goes down to the younger people. So, which ironically would have put me near the top, but that's the breaks, isn't it, for being old and tall? So well, I can't do anything about that.
We all want to carve our own rules, don't we?
Well, in that case, they should go by weight first, and then I'll be right up there.
I might not be far behind you on that one as well. Then, so yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, yeah, seriously, it's crap. But
it is one of those
not
things,
because of us, because they give tickets to like the only thing I've ever agreed with Roy Keane about is the prawn sandwich brigade. That's the thing.
The one thing which I will say though is sometimes with the corporates, not all of them go to the posh prawn sandwich brigade. You will see tickets that will probably be in the away ends, but they'll be giving to people like Carabao who at the minute have done a cup competition to try and win tickets, which
entered.
Yeah, everyone's just entering just in case.
Sky entered.
But you look at that, so they've done that. EE, who have the sponsorship of Wembley, the likelihood is
they're another lot,
they do sort of like competitions, so normal people will get the chance to go to cup competitions for free, whereas they may not necessarily, because that's the other thing, people may not necessarily have the money, because ticket prices are from 40 to 100, which I know I don't want to seem like that's nothing, because it is. It
is a lot to a lot of people.
It is expensive, but is £100 a lot to pay to see your team in the first cup final
not
since 1999? No,
just won't eat for a week.
It's not exactly. It's like
I mean, also the thing is, I want to say is don't buy them. I know this is going to just follow on to like people already know. Don't buy them on anything else, because if you read the small print, you've got they are going to be going around checking that your name is your ticket and all that. So please don't buy them on anyone else. Don't go out and say, "Oh, there's one there for £1,000." Don't. Do
don't.
People. You're just going to get ripped off. I know people know that, but just why are you mentioning the price for them? Because that's going to happen. So
you'll have people on there who'll try and profiteer out of it, and it's just not right, and it's just it's one of those things. Like I said, as soon and Michael will know, because he was in the pub with me after the game on Tuesday, and the only thing that I was doing was trying to get on the train website and trying to find trains.
It was balmy, wasn't it? You're like, fuck hell, they're all just disappearing in front of my eyes.
I know. I was like, right, Saturday, there's trains. Next thing I know, boom, gone. I'm like, where they disappeared to?
So it was hilarious. I was sat in a hotel room, so I was in Dubai for work this week, and I was sat in a hotel room. The second goal goes in, right, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm booking hotels for me and my mates. So I go on my phone. I've booked 3 different hotel rooms, and I text my mate who's at the game, so he doesn't actually get it until full time, because obviously the service is crap. And so he gets to the pub and texts us and said, he's like, laughing at the fact that I booked them as soon as the second goal went in. He's like, right, I'll book the trains then. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been looking at them too. Don't worry. Here's what you should do. Blah blah blah. But I wanted to check with you first, and thankfully we were all right.
I know quite a few people that probably booked them anyway, but I think as soon as the full time was, everyone was just like, right, I'm definitely booking them.
Oh yeah.
So the Saturday trains just went like that.
Yes.
I know there's one, Joel, who obviously does the podcast. He's traveling over to Carlisle.
And
then getting
really.
Yeah. Well, it's probably going to be a better chance of getting a seat on the train, because there's not going to be many coming from Manchester. Really. So
buses as well as buses. People don't forget there's National Express.
Yeah, there's buses. I know True Faith, obviously, which we shared. They're doing one as well. So there's plenty. I'm sure Backpage will probably look at doing.
I looked at flights as well, by the way, but.
Actually, that's
a lot of money to come back on Monday. It was like 300 odd quid for an economy ticket.
That's something that I can just say. I would just, because I'd seen this, British Airways is increasing its capacity on Sunday, the 26th of February, to help fans to London for the Carabao Cup final.
Help us. What are they free? Are they going to help us
good.
by making them free?
No, the like it will be there.
So
but
it's profiteering then, isn't it?
But
Joke.
it
That
is.
was a joke, by the way.
No, it
Well,
is,
they're
but
running
it
a
is-
business, aren't they?
Oh, of course
They
they
are.
are.
But it's an option for fans
Yes.
if they want to pay that and they want to travel down there.
Far better to have the option than to not have it at all.
Exactly. I think the one problem is, at least with planes, you can put on extra. With the trains, it's very difficult because you can only have so many on the track at one
The
time.
the lines are crammed as it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At least we got our
The buses will be. The A1
Aye.
will be absolutely chocker.
There'll be a shortage of coaches in the northeast. That's for sure. If anyone's got a wedding in the northeast or anything planned that weekend and they're putting like coaches on to get people to the venue, no chance. Not happening.
Taxi. We've got our hotel sorted out because we're bunking in with Adam P, aren't we, Mark? So he's probably got a suite, because he was passing and we all like, oh, there's Adam, come here.
But you might have had that sorted. I've already contacted a friend who lives down there, and this was because on the Tuesday there was just no chance. I thought, you know what, I'll look at it either when I get back or on the Wednesday morning. Yeah. The first thing I did on the Wednesday is I spoke to him. I'd sort of like got the tickets in the basket, waiting to speak to him, going, look, I can't get down the Saturday. I can come Friday, go back Monday. Can I stay at yours? Even if it's just sleeping on the sofa, or the bathtub or whatever, I do not care. And he went, yes. I went, right, okay, trains are booked. So we trains are booked, my accommodation sorted. The only thing I'm missing now is the ticket.
The big one. The whole bloody point of being there.
It is, but it's one of those things of I can then still decide, do I still go down and watch it somewhere or not? Because the trains, most likely can be cancelled. Yeah, so there's...
someone said don't go anywhere near Wembley as well to watch it because they will not...
No, I think there's a pub.
There's Box Park, isn't there?
But
you've got to have a ticket to go into there on the day, and they don't screen it anyway. It shuts. It's not
Box
on,
Park have said that they're not going to be screening the match,
and you got to have a ticket to get in. You got to have a ticket to get in anyway. So,
I knew it was ticketed, but I didn't know the one.
You just got to show your ticket for the game.
I think that might be more of a maybe a council / police thing. They don't want...
after the Euros as well, because they know there's going to be tons of us going, so they're going to not.
Well, exactly.
I don't think you'll even get near it. I think they'll be checking people on various things.
As soon as you get off the tube train.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Actually, no, you've got to show your ticket to get off the tube train.
Probably will. They probably will have something like that because they got so.
You've got no ticket.
Euros,
back on. Get back on.
Yeah,
on.
Not your Oyster card, mate. A ticket for the bloody game, man.
Yeah. Here's my library card. Well, that'll do, won't it? But I think there might be something like that where they'll just turn you around and say, sorry, you're not coming any further. You've wasted your time. Get back on your train.
It's a real shame because they could do like a fan park or something, and that would be amazing to have something like that.
February?
Well,
that'll be all right for us, but I don't know if that
exactly. We're from Newcastle, man. Who cares about that?
They may have something like that further away. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Trafalgar Square.
I'm not sure, but
is Trafalgar Square after the defecation that was put on by
there's
a
box park at Croydon if anyone wants to go to Croydon.
No one wants to go to Croydon.
Well, they normally, but there's a box park and they normally show the games because obviously every time there's an England game on, it always crosses to the Croydon box park.
It's about £15 pints in the air.
Exactly.
Albino doing that. That's an albino.
Whether or not there's somewhere in the hipster section of London and Shoreditch, there's a there's no. I still think they should just put up a massive screen in Trafalgar Square.
Like I said, up in the letters after.
The Maccans kind of ruined that for everyone, didn't they?
Well, I was going to be more subtle, but those a lot, jumping in the fountain with like 2 inches of water, and
it might have been easier if we'd had like a mayor in London who actually supported Newcastle, and he's like, no problem, the Georges are no problem. It's only those
get Ann and Deck on it.
It's just the unwashed across the way that aren't any.
Yeah, they spoilt it for everyone again. Who'd have thought it?
But no, I'm sure there'll be pubs and around the place, and I'm sure there'll be things that they'll probably do because they're not going to miss out on the chance to get Geordie money because they'll be like the Geordies know how to drink, unlike
Gonna
the
say,
people down.
Have you seen
like the
you seen
shandy
how many
drinkers
pints
down
we can
there.
sink, lads? Come on. License to print money, get your bars open.
It will be. It will be. I'm sure there'll be lots of places that do that. So
There is. I'm also sure you'll probably see places like maybe you'll probably see a screen at Times Square pop up in Newcastle for anyone who's not traveling.
Yeah.
they're doing one on at the uni, aren't they?
Yeah, I've seen something about Northumbria Uni,
Yeah.
something like that. There's going to be, but there will be, because there'll be places who will want to try and
well, but
cash
not
in
everyone.
and
Not
do
everyone
that.
can afford to go down for no reason. I mean,
No, but there'll be people who are going, look, this is the first final. I don't care whether or not I've got a ticket or not. I just want to be around.
oh yeah. Oh, I get that. Yeah, but there will. I mean, there'll still be people in the town. I would have thought 5 or 6.
We all know fine well if the result goes a way that we may or may not that we may like, there will be plenty of blow up plastic trophies on the tube home.
Yeah, that's for a different pod, isn't it? If it goes the way we want it to go.
Yeah, and that's an if. Remember, I've always said that, Michael. It's an if.
Yeah, you still got to do your superstition there before you leave town.
Well, this is the thing though, because my superstition is based on a home game. This is neutral, so it's like, what do I do?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I know it is. It's like, what do I do? Because it's classed as a home game in reality. So, but it's just one of those things. But because
it's a problem to have, isn't it? Let's hope we have many, many more years of talking about this.
I know. Is there even a Greg's round? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, because after
it'll just be Pret a Manger's from Arsenal to breakfast time.
Am I gonna have to take one down from this train station on the Friday and keep it until the
bags, your belongings and your Greg's? Yeah. I'm sure they do have them somewhere tucked away.
You can just cut the mold off it and that, you'll be all right.
All descend on Covent Garden.
Like I said, I think there'll be something planned on the Saturday around Trafalgar Square. Yeah.
I'm not worried. I'm going into it thinking I'm probably not going to get a ticket for the game, and I've made my peace with that, and I'm going to go down and I'll have a good time regardless.
Yeah. I agree. We're back to that again, aren't we? It's the best way of doing it, and let's just round it off with that. There's no other way of doing it unless we get the corporate buggers out.
I'm determined to have a good weekend, right up until the refs and VAR probably ruin it.
Well, we've even got our Swedish companion Max flying over.
Oh wow! Oh nice.
He
better not get a ticket.
Advice.
He better not get a ticket.
On some hotels and that last night.
To be honest, even because in the thing he went planes tick booked.
Oh, good lad! Yeah. Oh, I missed that. Oh, good lad. Good on him. Oh, it'd be good to see him again. And yeah,
but I think it is because it's probably going to be really difficult for him to feel apart from it in Sweden. So it's like, right, no, I'm going to come to London where everyone else is, and that. So will be we'll have an NUFC 360 knees up, because there'll be quite a few members down there. So
let's hope so.
We'll do it at one point. What we'll do is we'll move away from the happy feeling of Wembley to tomorrow's game, which may still be happy, but which is obviously 5:30 kickoff thanks to Sky Sports, and what we will be was that thumbs up for Sky Sports.
Well, yeah, for the 5:30 kickoff more than anything. Get a few more beers in.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's the thing. I always like. There's a like and a dislike to the later kickoffs. Later kickoffs are great for the atmosphere, but not for then getting home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a bit of a nightmare on that aspect. Whether or not that'll help us, because at least it gives us a couple of more hours preparation from obviously the Tuesday from that aspect. Obviously, West Ham are going to be coming up here not in the best of form. They likely to have Danny Ings back fit or available, but not Skamaka and not Kurt Zuma. So certain animals are good.
I don't think Cornet. I think they said Cornet is not fit as well, so that might be.
I don't think Cornet's been fit all season. Until yesterday, I'd forgot that he'd gone there because he's barely featured.
That's actually the thing. I was actually sitting there going, "Where does he play?" In my mind, because you're going.
I know. It's mad, isn't it? There you go.
Who, and we'll go to Mark first. Who do you think are the West Ham's main threats?
It's hard to say because in the past I would have said someone like Mikel Antonio, but he's really been off it this season. Also, I think a lot of his game relies on the fact that he's a big, strong lad. He can be quite clever with the ball in terms of keeping a hold of it and bringing others into the game and out-muscling lads. I mean, good luck trying that with Sven Botman, I suppose, is the answer to that. So maybe not so much with Antonio. Obviously, Skamaka's out. Paqueta, I think, could be a huge threat, but he hasn't really hit the ground running at West Ham. I don't know if David Moyes really knows what to do with them. I think I have heard, I don't know how reliable this is because, full disclosure, I haven't watched a lot of West Ham this season at all. They're probably one of the teams I've seen in action the least, actually, in the Premier League. But I've heard from some West Ham fans that he'd sort of been playing Paqueta as a 10, and he's worked out that actually he's probably better off in the 8, and he's sort of pulled him back a little bit recently. Whether that's working or not, though, I don't know. But, I mean, Paqueta, the talent's obviously there. Rice is obviously a hell of a player, and if you give them the opportunity to control the midfield, I mean, Rice is a great player to do that. But you look at the legs we've got in midfield, especially with Joe Linton coming back in there as well. I mean, Sean Longstaff is a given. He does. And then bring Joe Linton in there, the end that he's got, alongside Joe Willock, who gets up and down quick as well. So I'd like to think we're not going to get overrun in midfield. So I don't know. West Ham are a weird one for me because I think this decline that they've had in their performances, everyone's like talking about this season. Really, if you go deep on it, it actually started probably about 12 months ago. Started about like January, February last year when they got sort of into the deeper rounds of the European competition, whatever you call it, the Conference League. Their league form took a nosedive, and it's never really recovered since. So this has been getting on for over a year now, where they've not really been hitting the heights they were in the league, and I think part of that's down to the fact that they probably don't have the squad to maintain it, which could be a bit of a warning sign for us if we get our European competition. So, make sure we get fresh lads in the summer, which I'm sure we're already thinking about. But also, it seems like Moyes, the signings he's made, I think it's 170 or something.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Or, yeah, something like that. It seems like he's trying to transition them into a more sort of possession-based team. But if you look at their possession stats this season, it's pretty poor. So it hasn't worked, or at least it hasn't clicked yet. Something's afoot. So really, they're there for the taking. They've got good players. I mean, there's no easy answer to that question that Mark posed for me because I can't really pick one out because none of their team is really in outstanding form. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, but they do have plenty of talent across the pitch. It's just, is any of it going to show? And so far this season, I guess it hasn't. But they have had a bit of an upturn in form. But like you look at the teams they've played, they haven't played any sort of world beaters. Everton 2-0 stands out. It's like, wait, yeah, everyone beats Everton.
Yeah. Or did.
Yeah, I mean, really, we should be going into this with a lot of confidence. And Bruno, I know Bruno,
Yeah. People playing for places at that final.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mark. It's perplexing their season It's just been very strange for that. I don't think Moyes knows quite how to fix it. I mean, the two that Ings I thought was a really good signing because of how cheap he was. Because I like him. He's a good finisher. So I mean, when we let go of Woods, I thought, I wonder if they'll think about bringing him in, but it didn't happen. But he's a sort of, just for a bit, he's quite a good player. And Benrahma as well. He's another one. He's not really hit the heights. He's one that had a great season before that and just got nowhere near it this year. So I think it must be the Europe hangover. I mean, he tried to refresh it. He bought Paqueta in, didn't he? They spent, like Mark said, spent a lot of money and it's just not clicked in any way, shape or form. And their form's been really bad. But they're the one team down there that we all would think they're too good to go, too good to go down, but it's true. They've got such a good team. They're going to click at some point. If that means changing their manager, I don't know. But
I mean, he doesn't seem to know how to handle a centre forward. Like the amount of centre forwards that have gone to West Ham and flopped is just crazy. He doesn't seem to know what. Yeah,
well, Bowen had a good season, didn't he? He was playing himself into the England squad, and then he just dropped off. I mean, he let Callum Wilson just come up behind him and take his place. I mean, he, I know he scored 2 goals in the last game, so maybe he's going to come into a run of form. But he's another one who had a great season the year before, and just nowhere near it, not anywhere near it. It's very strange. They're the opposite of what we are. So,
yeah, I mean, Scamacca needs time, but he hasn't really hit the ground running. And I think a lot of that is because they don't play to his strengths as well. And then you look previous strikers, Sebastian Haller, who's obviously a quality player. I mean, he went to Dortmund and lit it up and stuff. He couldn't get a tune out of him either. So I don't know what it is with Moyes and centre forwards, but he, for some reason,
and then
work.
Souček was scoring goals for him. That's all dried up. He was popping up with a goal, not quite in Miggy territory, but he was coming up with a good couple of goals, and it's just all gone quiet for him. Really quiet. They must be really just scratching their heads, West Ham fans.
Well, what we'll do is normally I'd move on to the team lineup, but we sort of covered that in the Bruno absence and what we think was going to happen. So there's no real point going over the same lineup that we think is going to happen.
We'll be saying, does Sean Longstaff need dropping? No one's going to be saying that.
So what we'll do is we'll move on to the probably everyone's favourite part of this, which is the predictions. We'll go with you, Michael.
2-2, which is what I say every week, and we don't lose. So 2-2. So yeah.
This process is pointless. I'm the only one that might actually give a prediction.
Well, I can't say anything else, or we will lose, and I'll go. I wish I said 2-0 now. And one day I'll be right as well. Yeah, it is.
I think I'll say 2-0 Newcastle. I mean, West Ham have trouble scoring goals, and we barely concede any. So theoretically, it should be a recipe for disaster if you're a West Ham fan. Fingers crossed. That's all I can say. I would definitely take a 2-0. But having said that, I just feel like an absolute hiding is around the corner as well. It's like we owe a team an absolute hammering. No, not for us. Don't be stupid. Sven Botman doesn't. No.
I mean, that's one
Sven
thing.
I couldn't live with himself if that happened.
My 2-2 prediction to one side. I know I've got a good feeling about it. I think we're going to win. No matter, everyone's going to go, well, their heads are going to turn because of the final, but Eddie Howe doesn't work like that. And anyone who thinks he does, especially in that squad, is going to be in for a bit of a rude awakening because I don't think he's going to tolerate anything but business as usual, fellas. Get out there and do it.
Exactly. Well, what we'll do is we'll end it there. I'm trying to keep it at under an hour. We're at 45 minutes now, so we'll end it there. And we'll see you next week where we'll have our podcast. So thank you and good night.
Cheers, everyone.